This is the guy that wants to be your vice president, calling the number one entrepreneur in America that gay guy. You understand how weird that is?
So
I'd never do that to Adam. He's calling him that gay guy.
That gay guy. You've never said that. You've never said that.
Adam, how do you feel about that gay guy comment that Tim Walz just made?
Listen, I'm going to just quote Elon Musk on this, right? I got no problem being called gay, to be honest.
Imagine thinking you truly know Tim Walz. Then, out of nowhere, Patrick Bet-David storms in like a shocking plot twist that flips everything upside down. He drops truth bombs hotter than a midnight microwave burrito, and the blast is unreal. This isn't your usual politician gets roasted clip. It's Patrick ripping the curtain wide open, exposing the Tim Walz no one dared whisper about. Forget the polished speeches and picture-perfect smiles. Get ready for quirks, chaos, and a jaw-dropping reality check so sharp it'll make you gasp. Wait, that's the real Tim Walz? The drama is off the charts.
I got a question for you. You know, we watch you to see, how much ruckus and chaos you create sometimes. Why do you ask such a technical question from, the former VP candidate, Tim Walz? I want to start off with this, if you don't mind, because this is an offensive question. I mean, you can ask some subtle questions, but Rob, if you can play this, the audience is deeply concerned about you.
If you're enjoying this, smash that subscribe button. It helps more than you can imagine. Now, here's the wild truth about Tim Walz. On paper, he's the ultimate definition of a classic Midwestern politician. Safe haircut, boring tie lineup, and the energy of a half-cold bowl of oatmeal left out overnight. But then Patrick Bet-David steps in like he's had enough of this grandpa next door routine and starts ripping the wallpaper right off the walls, literally exposing the crazy circus that's been hiding behind it. Spoiler alert, it's weird, it's wild, and it's absolutely out of control.
Question for everybody. How often do you talk and say something like, hey, Vinny, you know that gay guy? You ever talk to people like that?
Never.
I'm just curious, do you talk like that? Do you talk like that? Maybe you're watching this, you're like, I don't want to admit to it because I'm sitting in the bathroom watching this, but just yesterday I told my brother that gay guy. Okay, maybe that's you. That's okay. But guess what? Don't feel bad. Because somebody that's about to be your vice president also says that regularly. He says it so regularly that it's slipped up on stage. This is not even without camera.
Walz has spent years convincing everyone he's that lovable small-town dad type, the guy cracking cheesy jokes at PTA meetings and flipping burgers at local cookouts. But peel back that shiny layer of Midwestern politeness like old duct tape, and underneath lies a wild mix of contradictions. You can't help but wonder, is this man secretly doing performance art, or has he been improvising his entire political life on the fly? It's a mystery wrapped in a smile, and Patrick's ready to rip it wide open.
What is a woman? What is a woman is the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question here.
Well, that.
So
Okay.
what do you want me to say? This is.
I want you to say that a woman like me is an adult human female, that men can't become women. You guys are the party of violence, and you're the party erasing women. You don't respect us. You're a bigot. You're a misogynist. You're a sexist. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Patrick throws down the truth like a thunderbolt. The guy plays political football with the wild energy of a little league dad on a sugar rush. But halfway through the match, he starts rewriting the rules as if he owns the whole stadium. One moment he's pretending to be everyone's moral compass, and the next he's twisting himself into a pretzel, depending on who's cheering loudest. It's like he downloaded every political cliche from the 90s, mashed them into one chaotic remix, and now performs them like a broken speak and spell that refuses to quit. The madness is unreal.
Biology, which kind of worked in your favor. But Rob, if you want to play this clip, he called Elon Musk.
Pat, don't judge me.
I would never do that.
He never judges you. How long have you known that?
I would never do that. Rob, play this clip.
So poorly. Not only did we lose 10 million jobs, we were pitted into a hunger game against our neighbors to find toilet paper. That's how bad it was. So now, I suppose it wasn't too bad, thinking back to that economy. If you're a billionaire, Elon Musk, for example, say, that guy got it. Michigan knows that word. Look, that dude got a tax cut and the rest of us got shafted.
Don't be fooled. Walz isn't some clueless, accidental goofball. He's the type who wakes up, stares at the mirror, and thinks, how can I confuse everyone today without anyone noticing? That's his ultimate playbook. His man of the people act seems charming until you realize it's staged like a low-budget Netflix drama. Forced smiles, awkward hugs, and baseball caps that scream, relatable. It's all part of the illusion. But Patrick rips it apart, revealing that behind those perfect photo ops hides a mastermind of political gymnastics, not your friendly neighborhood uncle. He tries to be the guy giving life lessons over hot dogs, but ends up the one rambling wild theories before dozing off at 7:30. That's pure Walz energy. Patrick doesn't just imply, he roars it. Walz has mastered the art of being aggressively beige, turning dullness into his superpower. Imagine working overtime just to be remembered as the human version of unsalted crackers. That's Walz in a nutshell. Unbelievable.
AOC and what do you call it? And Tim Walz were playing video games.
Playing Madden 25 live streaming during NFL Sunday, which is the chief strategist and campaign manager for the Harris campaign, completely like when you talk about their messaging, Pat, they're playing Madden live during NFL Sunday, and people were taking photos. Like, obviously the internet's relentless. His controller wasn't even on. And the end of the game, Pat, after playing for hours, guess what the score was?
They killed it. It was like a
0-0. And all they were talking about was Project 2025. But yeah.
Here's where it gets wild. Both his fans and his critics are completely baffled by him. Supporters think he's some gentle reformer, while his haters swear he's a slick magician pulling rabbits from hats no one asked for. But Patrick calls it straight. He's neither. Walz thrives in confusion, pretending he's just doing his job while juggling contradictions like a circus pro. He preaches unity at breakfast and tosses out division by lunchtime. One moment it's small-town values, the next it's big-league double talk. Watching him is like seeing someone play Monopoly and Uno at the same time, and still lose both games spectacularly. Patrick digs deep, exposing that Walz's greatest skill isn't leadership or wisdom, it's pure survival instinct. The man's a political chameleon, switching from bold leader to clueless optimist faster than you can blink. He looks calm and in control, yet somehow gives off the energy of someone who just realized he lost his car keys mid-speech.
What I am most proud of is, because of all the things Donald Trump has stolen, because this started, and I love this story, as a young prosecutor.
What did he say?
Because this started, and I love this story, as a young prosecutor.
Patrick exposes this entire dynamic like he's bringing out receipts at a heated family intervention. The truth lands hard. Tim Walz isn't the steady, dependable leader people think he is. He's that coworker who looks responsible until you realize he's been winging it for years and somehow still hasn't been caught. His entire act screams relatable everyman, but Patrick tears it apart, showing how Walz has been running on pure improvisation the whole time. And honestly, it's kind of jaw-dropping, convincing an entire state that you're both the wise dad and the bold leader while contradicting yourself daily is a serious performance feat. Patrick paints Walz as a master of disguise, blending in anywhere, confusing everyone, and calling the chaos leadership. To his fans, he's the calm captain steering the ship. To his critics, he's the guy steering straight into icebergs while blaming the compass. The truth Patrick reveals? Walz isn't misunderstood. He's perfectly understood. His real strategy is calculated confusion. Act friendly, stay unpredictable, and sprinkle just enough dad charm so no one catches the contradictions hiding in plain sight.
$7 billion in taxes, Tim. How much have you paid in taxes? He's created hundreds of thousands of jobs. He was able to get a rocket to go and come back in 1/20th of a cost of NASA. When Boeing said, let's leave those couple people up there, we need till next year, he says, I can come and help. When you needed battery chargers nationwide, he already thought about that 15 years ago. When Zelensky, the greatest beggar fundraiser in the world, needed to get some money, and they talked shit about Elon, you know who gave them Starlink? Elon did. Internet. That's the guy? That's the gay guy? The guy with 11 kids is a gay guy? That's the guy. Really? How many gay guys do you know running 5 different multi-billion-dollar companies?
And here's the unbelievable part. People keep falling for it over and over again. That's the real shocker. Somehow, Walz has managed to convince voters he's the safe choice while secretly running one of the longest improv acts in modern political history. That's not luck. It's strategic chaos. Patrick Bet-David breaks it all down with brutal honesty, making you suddenly realize, oh, that's why none of it ever made sense. He rips away the curtain and shows Walz for what he really is. Not the calm, collected leader, but the guy in the back juggling plates and pretending everything's fine. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Walz isn't the man of the people. He's the man playing one on television. Thanks to Patrick's fiery breakdown, the real Tim Walz, messy, contradictory, and endlessly winging it, is finally exposed for the world to see. Patrick dismantles his image so effortlessly, it's almost hilarious. Walz isn't some mastermind. He's the political equivalent of Wi-Fi. Strong signal one moment, total blackout the next. And the craziest part? People still keep paying the bill like nothing's wrong. Patrick lays it out plain. Walz doesn't survive on brilliance. He survives on balance, charm, and just enough blandness to make people shrug and think, well, at least he's not blowing everything up.
carefully, and I had played it back a couple times, but you sounded upset.
What happened?
If I sounded pissed off, it's because I was. No, it's just like, he just ended his presidential career. I mean, there is no 2028 for Tim Walz. I buried him that day. Now, you have all these witnesses, these people that come to these big committees before Congress. They testify under oath. It's very, very public. And they spend millions of dollars to prepare for these hearings, for the toughest questions. What they're not ready for are for the dumbest questions, the most simple, most common sense questions. And so this is just a thing I've taken up on. I just ask Democrats when they come before me, what's a woman? And they just cannot answer
Who's
the
answered
question.
That? Who have you noticed that is actually willing to be reasonable and give the answer?
Nobody.
Are you serious?
No, I'm dead serious.
Here's the real jaw dropper. Sometimes he actually is setting the place on fire, but he's so slick he convinces everyone it's just part of the neighborhood cookout. Think about it. His speeches don't inspire, they tranquilize. It's not rally the crowd, it's more like background noise while you're folding laundry. Patrick points out the absurd truth. Walz could announce a national crisis, and half the audience would think he's reading weather updates. It's political elevator music, technically playing, but absolutely forgettable. And that's his secret power. Walz thrives in the fog. He doesn't want you fired up. He wants you bored enough to miss the contradictions swirling all around. He flashes that polished grin, tosses out lazy one-liners about unity, and hopes no one notices his actions scream the exact opposite. Patrick nails it. Walz isn't leading. He's performing a magic trick. His entire act is about distraction through kindness, while quietly rearranging the pieces behind the curtain. And somehow, it keeps working. People walk away thinking, what a decent guy, while unknowingly agreeing to a dozen conflicting ideas. He preaches responsibility, then spends like a lottery winner, promises honesty, then fogs every press conference like a magician's smoke show. That's the real illusion. Confusion turned into a career plan.
Up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news.
Walz sells himself as calm and reliable, but his record looks like a roller coaster built by someone who's never even seen a blueprint. Patrick exposes this wild chaos with cutting humor. No screaming, no theatrics, just cold truth that stings. Suddenly, you realize Walz isn't some mysterious genius. He's a walking paradox in khakis. The man is everything and nothing all at once. A political Schrodinger's cat, both in charge and completely lost at the same time. And the craziest part, people keep buying the act like it's on sale. He's the political babysitter who lets the kids eat candy for dinner, but insists, hey, at least nobody got hurt. He's duct tape politics. Messy, temporary, and somehow still holding it all together. Patrick shows that Walz isn't dangerous because he's radical. He's dangerous because he's forgettable. Forgettable politicians slip through cracks, making big moves while everyone's too numb to notice. Walz milks that dullness like it's his secret weapon. He doesn't crave applause. He feeds off silence. Behind that calm grin is a man who's weaponized blandness, winning battles quietly with a shrug and a story. Patrick practically screams between the lines. This isn't authenticity, it's manipulation in plain sight.
Heartbeat away from becoming the vice president of the United States of America.
That's scary.
And you can't define a woman. And if you can't define a woman, then you definitely can't define our rights as women. You definitely can't protect us as women. You can't protect our daughters. You can't protect me.
Whether, it was because of that question or not, if he would ever be president, because the way he handled himself in the debate with J.D. Vance, that was that's probably the worst debate performance I've ever seen, aside from Joe Biden's debate with the president. The first one where within the first 30 seconds, you're like, this is not good. Remember?
Think about it. Real authenticity is messy and raw. It stumbles. It cracks jokes at the wrong time. It admits mistakes. But Walz's version, it's so polished it squeaks. He's like a sitcom character who always lands the perfect line, no matter how chaotic the scene. Patrick tears that image to shreds, revealing it for what it truly is. Stagecraft, pure and calculated. Every smile, every story, every relatable moment feels rehearsed to perfection, all designed to make him seem like one of us while secretly running the oldest playbook in politics. And the wildest part? Walz isn't a villain. He's something far more frustrating. He's the guy who stays relevant without ever doing anything remarkable. He doesn't spark change. He manages moods. Every grin is camouflage, hiding the chaos swirling backstage. The big twist? Tim Walz isn't extraordinary. He's not even particularly capable. What he is, according to Patrick's sharp breakdown, is the most underestimated type of operator, the bland survivor. The guy who plays it safe, keeps it vague, and lets everyone overlook him while he quietly builds a legacy of confusion and control. Incredible.
Walz is a knucklehead. That's not us talking, that's him talking. We saw him get picked, and we saw Odd dancing, kicking his foot, yanking his son, who is a special needs individual, and us all wondering, what is this all about? And then say, well, maybe when he tightens up the suit a little bit, puts on that tie, and sits in the VP debate, maybe we'll see the real one. And then they asked him, did you or did you not go to China? He gave a 2-minute answer instead of just saying, yeah, I kind of...
In the end, Patrick's biggest revelation isn't just about Walz. It's about the entire system that lets men like him climb so high and stay there for years. A system where being aggressively beige beats being brave, where playing it safe is rewarded more than leading with courage, and where politicians like Tim Walz can coast for decades by convincing everyone that forgettable equals trustworthy. It's a shocking mirror to modern politics. So next time he steps on stage flashing that perfectly practiced grin, remember Patrick's warning. You're not looking at a friendly small-town dad. You're watching a political magician at work, a man who's mastered the craft of saying everything while meaning absolutely nothing. He's been hiding in plain sight this whole time, wrapped in khakis and dad jokes, performing one of the longest-running improv acts in American politics. And the wildest part? The audience still hasn't realized it's all part of the show. What a trick!